Why, good morning and happy Easter, you beautiful souls. I just got to say, thank you so much for tapping in this morning. And in our special Satsang holiday rendition, we're going to be diving into this aspect of death and rebirth. Now, ultimately, it's important to recognize that rebirth can't arise without some type of death. So this morning, it's all about tapping into that Libran full moon energy and this divine holiday, because it's not only Easter, it's Passover as well. So this is the time when we really liberate ourselves. We let go of that which isn't serving us, whether it be a physical attachment or emotional sensations or those types of addictions of the feelings and all that stuff internally, and even the attachment to thought. This is our time to really let go of all that, to enable ourselves to harmonize with the universe and to transmute those energies into something that serves us, into something that represents that highest good, that love, that depth of our pureness and being. So go ahead and get your last few wiggles out, shake out that energy, get that stagnant stuff flowing, move it around. And as always, I lovingly invite you into the realm of the heart, that throne of the soul, to transcend not only this physicality, but the emotions, the mental thought forms, and the sensations that arise within this physical form. To gain a distance and separation, to recognize your true position in this play. And as always, to align, resonate, harmonize, tap in, and be in union with that highest of high selves. When you hear the first 3 taps of the singing bowl, take a nice deep inhale with each sound of the bowl as it rings. And as you exhale, transform it into a powerful and mighty Om. Allow your jaw to relax and the mouth to open as your sigh of relief transforms into an effortless A note. And as you close the mouth into a gentle smile, the U and the M will form naturally as you lower the jaw. Simply rest. Allow that same effortless of sleep to carry over into this waking practice of stillness, of letting go, of simply being. It's here we come to remember and awaken to our true position in the play, to allow all that doesn't serve us to drop away, and to allow all that resonates and makes the heart smile and come home to that truth of knowing of our pureness to resonate and shine brighter. It's here in the pureness that we rest. And with this final tap of the singing bowl, shift your attention to the ringing. And as it fades, so too allow the dust to settle within your own being. Simply marinate in that peace and calm. One must recognize that we are constantly in this process of death and rebirth, of destruction and creation. This duality is something that one cannot escape in this physicality. But the question is, are you going to be a victim of these universal laws and forces? Or are you going to harmonize with them and utilize them for your advancement? To harmonize with them and transform your own beingness through this process of refinement. Every time you seek to recreate yourself, the old version of you must seemingly die. But recognize that these are but thoughts. These are but energies of the most subtle forms. Their creation and their destruction is fluid, not static. We are always in this state, this flux of change. However, in life, when we are immersed in this play, we cannot see the objective. We cannot see the grand scheme of things. Those lulls, those periods of stagnancy in your own beingness, your own life and experience, where the energy seems sticky, your pace and acceleration seems delayed, gummied. And as many of us also experience during those lows, those moments where we seemingly take steps backwards. But again, we must recognize that this process, this eternal dance of change, is everlasting. For this is our evolutionary path. As one can see in their own experience, when we allow life to take the reins, the dance becomes effortless. It's only when we think we have control fully over this experience that we enter in this roller coaster of dislikes and likes, of goods and bads, of highs and lows, rather than recognizing the grand dance that is life in its entirety. Look at the cycle of rebirth in your own experience. Those moments of transformation, aha, where you've pivoted your existence. Was that not preceded by some death or falling away? Just as we must learn to understand the energies of fear, we must come to recognize the tensions and resistance we have towards death, towards change, is but that sign of the deepest realms of our heart for advancement, for opportunity to grow. So why is it that we fear death in this physicality? Is it not because we forget this grand universal law? Is it the fact that the attachments we have with this body drop away? And like any pet we love, that loss, it pains us. The connection, it expands our heart. So what more do we fall in love with in this experience than the body itself? This vessel, this friend in which we get to experience life. What happens when you lose your fear of death in this realm as you currently live? What happens when you confront this concept of death within your own experience as your heart beats strongly and you breathe consistently? Are you willing to let go of this experience while still living it? This process of death and rebirth arises daily. For do you not feel the depth, the change in the energies when you awaken the next day? One could see sleep as its own miniature form of death, for we willingly and lovingly let go of this experience. Death is nothing to fear, for in truth you are a master of it. Learning how to tie your shoes, walking, talking, writing, reading, all forms of not knowing die, for this knowing to be reborn, to be rebirthed. Your understanding of this world and yourself grows and expands, and that past version of you dies and you become reborn. But why do we hold on to the past? That is the question we must seek. Because the past is a version of ourselves that has died. Every slice of now, the past version dies, and the current form is recreated. So why do we choose to recreate ourselves with each moment, holding on to such burdens that weigh us back? When we see such things holding us down, when we know such things in our heart cause us to misperceive and misexperience, allow this juicy introspection to apply to your own being. What within you have you allowed to die? And what have you chosen to keep alive? We must recognize this process, this refinement, can only be optimized through this realm of accountability and honesty. For in truth, we hold on to many things and we hold on to others. We let go of some, we let go of many. The anchor here is to look at your heart. Where does the healing need to take place? Where is your inner child still holding on? We must utilize this process of death and rebirth, this resurrection of ourselves, on these most high and loving vibrations and frequencies. This journey of experience never ends. But the sense of me, the attachments, they transform, always through this process of refinement. Come into a deeper version of what you are, that deepest knowing of you, that window of awareness to the divine. Transcend and escape all forms of death in its truth. And in that same light, escape that process of rebirth and come back to that eternal unchanging. It's okay for the mind to be perplexed, but let go of the confusion. Allow that to die, because this realm of our existence goes beyond the mind's comprehension. It goes beyond the imagination. It cannot taste what we fully are. It cannot see what we fully are, because it is within it. Fundamentally, it cannot. That is the divine recognition that arises when you let go of this physicality, when you let go of this concept that you will die. The body drops away, but you are eternal. When we master the dualities, when we master the universal laws, we come to this inner knowing of self-realization. For they are but the grand aspects to the lesser in which we can apply for our own lives. Again, as above, so below. We live in the micro, but we represent the macro. So we can look to the stars to learn more about our own beingness than anything. We can look to how the planets ebb and flow. We can look to how the stars align and the energies play for our own heart and mind to unlock, liberate itself, heal, and transform. But again, we must confront this aspect, this fear, this tension around death. Explore your own tensions. When even the word is spoken, death, what arises within you? What arises within the physical form when you say, the body will die, but I will remain? Will you come to experience that firsthand? Are you willing to question your mortality in this play? Most importantly, are you willing to lovingly embrace this knowing of death? It matters not if there is tension that arises within your heart. It matters not what arises within the beingness. Simply observe the play of the energies. Simply observe the thoughts and the emotions, and watch them at this point of separation. Observe your body as if you are an animal, a dog or a cat, watching squirrels and birds through a window. Every passing squirrel and bird and animal in this foreground represents a thought, an emotion, a sensation. And you are that quiet pet watching silently, meticulously, not judging, not trying to assert your knowing, but simply allowing the inner experience to play out. In truth, in order for death, the fears and attached to it, to pass through us, we must give them space of love to express themselves. Only here, when they fully leave the body, leave the physical form, can we become reborn. The same applies to the energies of old. Only when we hold space for that past version of ourselves to fully be can it finally process and move forward as it's intended to. Take a deep breath here, filling up your entire being with as much air, love, and light as you can. And when the body feels like it's full, try to squeeze in the last few more breaths here. Simply hold the breath comfortably for a moment. And as you exhale, allow yourself to release the breath and also to expel those fears, those tensions, those hesitant moments, those resistances you have. Again, taking a deep breath here. Filling yourself up with as much air as you can, and when you think the body is full again, take a few more breaths and hold. Do not allow anything to distract you. Simply be as you are. Whenever the beingness is ready, again, release the breath and expel consciously those tensions. Release them in your mind's eye. And one more deep breath here. Again, that process of filling yourself up, and once you feel the lungs are at max capacity, again, squeeze in a few more breaths. And as you release it, again, allow all tensions to drop away. Remain in that stillness, that calm. Know this is a space of your own creation. Know that in this space, we let go of this identity. When we give our full attention to this play, when we give our full attention to this silent witness, everything in our experience drops away. It is but one of the many aspects of depth that arises, for thought forms, emotions, and sensations drop. And as we all know, they can become reborn when we come back to this realm and interact in it. But know that the peace of your own being, this calm, this space of love and warmth, is you in its minor expressions. It is the aroma of what we are. But this is you. There is nothing that we can categorize ourselves by other than this state of emptiness yet fullness, of calm and peace, of warmth and stillness. Yet there is that dynamic, active intelligence, that window of awareness that perceives and knows. Know that everything else dies, but this window of awareness and recognition remains. This ability to perceive, this sense of self, this sense of meanness and beingness, is that eternal nature in which you are. What you see, what you experience, this temporary realm, all that changes in that sense can die. So come to recognize your eternal nature. This beingness that leaves the body lovingly every night. And allow your heart to unfold in this realm of love. For it's here in that tensionless state, that rest, that you come to master this scale, this duality of death and rebirth. For in this realm of pureness, you are the fulcrum in which they both stand upon. It's here in this realm in which you see what comes and goes. In this state of pureness, this state of being. It never leaves you, but we cover it up with the lesser attachments, with those fears and tensions, with that game of duality itself. So come here for your balance, your harmony. It takes but a breath to come home. And in truth, you never leave. For everything within your experience plays on this backdrop, this screen of consciousness. Even the experiences of death and rebirth. We resurrect ourselves each and every day. We are reborn each and every moment. It matters not what you experience. All aspects of this living, dance, and play change us and impact us. And every time we grow, the past version of us dies. The only moment we ever live is this eternal now. Like the screen of a film, we seemingly experience it in this fluid motion, but it is truly one snapshot, one frame at a time. So the question for ourselves is, why do we choose to hold on to that which doesn't serve us, if this is the case of our reality? And although there are many answers, one of the most fundamental is simply because we believe it. We hold on to it by choice. So what happens when you change your perspective? What arises within your experience when you choose to let go? When you allow that which is in the past to die? The intention is part, and it is the most important aspect, for it is the catalyst, but the following process of this rebirth, the inevitable aspect of this duality, is to hold space for the change and transmutation to arise. We cannot die fully. So know that everything that drops away isn't you. Explore this process, this universal happening of death and rebirth with love, with reassurance, with trust. In these words, knowing that what you are can never die. When you hear the final tap of the singing bowl, allow yourself to take a nice deep breath. And as you transform that exhale into a powerful Om, allow your beingness to set that intention within your own heart, to lovingly and willingly allow that which doesn't serve you, that which holds you and blinds you from your highest truth, to die and become reborn, to align and uplift your energies to that highest self, that pure knowing in the heart. And as we chant this Om, we spread that love and light throughout the world, so that all of our planetary and soul siblings can awaken to the magic of their own beingness, and can transform and allow the past versions that hold us back from realizing not only ourselves, but the beauty that this planet and experience can be. So it all may become reborn in this energy of spring, in this theme of death and rebirth, to bring the full fulfillment of this duality into our existence, as we all become self-masters, self-realized, and self-awakened beings. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. Thank you so much for tapping in. Ooh, let's see what you got. Yeah, brother. Death by the nanosecond, newness in the immediacy of existence. Facts. And that is probably one of the most important things to realize about this process of death and rebirth, is that you're already doing it. Plain and simple. The key is you die each and every day. When you awaken, you have that opportunity to reset everything. But how many of us instantly go right back into that play, go right back into that character, that story in which we reinforce and tell ourselves each and every day, each and every moment? That is probably one of the most wild things that I've seen personally. And it's this willingness to entertain. Well, what happens if we allow everything to drop away? That is temporary. That's where you get into this awesome realm of death and rebirth. Because you quickly begin to see that all of these temporary things die. Yet it's our own awareness that keeps them alive, the rebirth. Yet even here, when you experience that falling away, that death, your own recognition and understanding of self becomes reborn. It's a beautiful process, and it's important to realize that theme of creation and destruction, of death and rebirth, of contraction and relaxation. It's all one thing. You cannot have one without the other. And this is why it's important to really analyze and look at these things, because that fulcrum in which the seesaw of duality sits upon is you. You observe both the death and the rebirth. You realize what falls away and what remains. You're the one constant in this experience, that sense of self, that sense of me. So what are you going to do with that information? How are you going to sit with that? That's the beauty of it. And the only thing that I can really give advice-wise for those that are exploring this, because death can be a heavy one. I know personally, it was a theme that played pretty heavily. It was my father who passed away in September. It was his birthday yesterday. And it was a big emotional release, waking up just like sobbing. And throughout the day, it was coming back to that realization of the subtleties of not only what I was picking up on from members of my family, but I guess you could say the bodily past pains. And even in the fullness and the realization, the recognition, the body still has its own feedback, and it weighs it down. It hurts. It's pain. It's sad. So even in this, one practice that arose yesterday for me again was holding space for the body to process these things. I'm fully aware of the play. I live it. But I too know and have come to really love the body. That concept of the ego doesn't die until the body dies, folks. There's no such thing as an ego death. The only thing that arises is your liberation from the attachment to such a concept of bodily identity. That's its own thing, its own can of worms. We'll dive into that later. But the thing here is knowing that the body is feeling and experiencing all of these things. I need to hold space so it can transmute that. I'm the rider of it. I don't expect the horse to calm itself down and to settle. I expect the cowboy or cowgirl to help facilitate that. And it's the same thing for your own experience. In order to transmute energies of old, in order to allow the past version of ourself to become reborn, to utilize these old experiences and to refine your own sense of beingness from them, you must hold space for your body. You must hold this vessel with that light of love. That child self was mentioned in the meditation, and it's that exact same thing that you're holding space for. So death and rebirth, it's a trippy one, but I really, really, really suggest people explore it. This is a great time to really capitalize in this energy because it's spring. It is that transformation and transmutation. So, I can go all day about these things, but I just wanted to say, never forget your ability to turn pain into power, to transform suffering into strength. And with that, may the fruit of knowledge offer you a seed, and in that seed may your love, will, and intuition give life and nourishment, for a tree shall grow, and in its shade may you find peace, and offer peace to all who ask. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you, and I love you so much. I hope you all have a great Easter, happy Passover. Hope everyone has a great holiday season, and most, if you don't even practice this stuff, I hope that you can still utilize on all these energies, because we are of earth. Everyone's collective energies plays a part, and you can transform the world by shining your light. So be you, shine the light of love you are, and let the world know where you at. You're the gift to it. So let us see you. I'm looking, I'm waiting. Let's get it. All right, take care. I love you so much. Peace.